Sean Michael, a seasoned truck driver, embarked on a dark and foreboding journey along U.S. Highway 82, hauling a massive load of wood chips for the Pines Company. The night was unusually chilly, and a sense of unease settled over Sean as he ventured deeper into the isolated stretch of road towards Camden, Arkansas. It was late at night, and it had been a long day for Sean. He and his wife were visiting his nieces for her birthday, so after the celebration was over, he had to get back to work, and it wasn't his normal shift. As Sean drove through the darkness, he tried to stay alert by flipping through the FM radio stations. The crackling sounds filled the cabin of his truck, but the music seemed distorted and distant, as if it were battling against an unseen force. Suddenly, a soft voice caught his attention. It was a haunting melody, a tune he had never heard before. The lyrics spoke of lost souls and eternal torment. Intrigued yet unnerved, Sean turned up the volume, allowing the eerie melody to fill the empty spaces of his truck. As the haunting song played, the atmosphere grew heavy, and the air seemed to thicken with an otherworldly presence. Shadows danced along the roadside, and Sean's heart quickened with a mix of curiosity and dread. Through the flickering headlights, their feeble glow barely illuminating the surrounding darkness, Sean caught haunting glimpses of ghostly figures standing at the edge of the woods. Their wispy forms materialized from the shadows, their tattered garments billowing in an unseen wind. Their faces, once human, now bore a deathly pallor. Their eyes, hollow and vacant, seemed to pierce through the veil of reality, fixating upon Sean with an unsettling intensity. They stood in eerie stillness, their presence both ethereal and unnerving. As the haunting melody continued to play through the radio, the spectral figures swayed with an otherworldly grace. Their movements synchronized with the rhythm of the song, as if they were mere extensions of the music itself. Mesmerized yet apprehensive, Sean felt an inexplicable pull, drawing him further into their spectral world. Their ghostly forms seemed to flicker and fade with each passing moment, shifting between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead. It was as if they were caught in an eternal struggle, forever trapped between two planes of existence. A sudden gust of wind rattled the truck, causing Sean to grip the steering wheel tightly. The melody in the air turned discordant, the ghostly figures contorting in unnatural ways. Their once serene expressions twisted into grotesque masks of anguish. As Sean tried to comprehend the horrifying scene unfolding before him, the ghostly figures began to move with a frantic energy. Their wispy bodies surged forward, darting towards the truck, their spectral hands reaching out, desperate to make contact. Fear gripped Sean's heart as he frantically searched for a way to escape. He slammed on the accelerator, but the truck seemed sluggish, as if weighed down by an unseen force. The haunting melody in the air grew louder, morphing into a cacophony of dissonance that echoed inside Sean's head. In a moment of sheer terror, the ghostly figures converged upon the truck. Their ethereal fingers clawed at the windows, leaving smudged marks behind. Their faces pressed against the glass, their hollow eyes staring into Sean's soul. With a blood-curdling shriek, one of the figures lunged at Sean through the open window. His heart pounded in his chest as he instinctively jerked away, narrowly avoiding the spectral touch. The truck veered off the road, crashing into a tree with a bone-rattling impact, its metal frame groaning in protest. Sean's world spun in a dizzying whirl as pain shot through his body. Dazed and disoriented, he fought to regain his senses, his mind reeling from the encounter with the ghostly figures. As the dust settled and the ringing in his ears subsided, Sean slowly opened his eyes. The haunting melody had ceased, replaced by an eerie silence that hung heavy in the air. His heart raced as he surveyed the wreckage around him, but there was no sign of the spectral beings that had plagued him moments ago. With great effort, Sean managed to free himself from the twisted metal of the truck's cabin. Pain surged through his limbs, but adrenaline pushed him forward. He stumbled away from the wreckage, casting one last glance at the scene. And then, out of the corner of his eye, he caught a flicker of movement. Turning his head, his gaze met the figure of a young girl, her spectral form partially translucent. She stood a few yards away, her pale eyes locked on him. A chilling aura emanated from her, freezing the air around them. Sean's heart pounded in his chest as a sense of dread gripped him. There was something profoundly unsettling about the girl's presence. Her tattered white dress hung from her emaciated frame, swaying eerily in the still night. Shadows seemed to writhe around her like serpents, hinting at a darkness that engulfed her soul. The girl's lips curled into a haunting smile, revealing rows of sharp, needle-like teeth. Her voice, a sinister whisper that seemed to come from the depths of the abyss, slithered through the air. "I smell blood, and it's so yummy. Now, you shall join us in eternal suffering." "Not today, you turds," Sean whispers to himself, but Sean's blood ran cold, and a paralyzing fear gripped him. He tried to step back, but his legs felt heavy, as if shackled by an invisible force. The girl advanced slowly, each step causing the ground to crack beneath her, leaving a trail of decay in her wake. As she drew closer, Sean could see the deep, empty voids that were once her eyes. They emanated a malevolence that seeped into his very being, threatening to consume him. Panic surged through his veins, but he knew he had to fight back. Summoning every ounce of courage, Sean reached for the only weapon he had, his truck's flashlight. He fumbled for the switch, and as the bright beam cut through the darkness, the girl recoiled, hissing in agony as the light burned her ethereal form. In that moment of reprieve, Sean found the strength to break free from the invisible restraints. He stumbled backward, his mind racing for a way to escape. But the girl was relentless, her spectral form contorting and warping as she moved with unnatural speed, closing the distance between them. Desperation flooded Sean's senses as he realized he was trapped, surrounded by an otherworldly evil. In a last-ditch effort, he swung the flashlight with all his might, striking the girl's form. But instead of dispersing, she laughed, a chilling, cacophonous sound that echoed through the night. Suddenly, the surrounding woods came alive with a symphony of eerie whispers. Shadows twisted and coalesced, forming grotesque shapes that slithered toward Sean. The spectral figures he had encountered before emerged from the darkness, their ethereal faces contorted with malevolent glee. Sean's heart pounded in his chest, his breath ragged. It seemed as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling, and he was caught in the midst of an infernal nightmare. The haunting melody that had once enticed him now transformed into a dissonant cacophony, tormenting his ears and threatening to shatter his sanity. With his back against a gnarled tree, Sean closed his eyes, preparing for the worst. But in the depths of his despair, a surge of defiance rose within him. He refused to become another tormented soul trapped in this nightmarish realm. Summoning every ounce of willpower, Sean screamed, a primal, guttural sound that pierced through the cacophony. The ground trembled beneath him, and a blinding light erupted from his core, casting away the shadows and banishing the spectral entities. As the light receded, the malevolent girl and her minions vanished into the abyss from whence they came. The woods returned to an eerie silence, the lingering remnants of fear and despair gradually fading away. Sean took a moment to catch his breath, his eyes surveying the transformed landscape with a mixture of awe and relief.